Welcome everyone. Thanks so much for being here tonight. We have a super exciting night in store for us. I'm glad that all of you continue to attend. Let's give a round of applause to our band who's doing I'll begin with our land acknowledgement. At the land grant institution, Utah State University campuses and centers reside and operate on the territory of the 8 tribes of Utah, who have been living, working, and residing on this land from time immemorial. These tribes are the Confederated Tribes of the Goshen Indians, Navajo Nation, Ute Indian Tribe, Northwestern Mando-Shoshone, Paiute Indian Tribe of Utah, San Juan Southern Paiute, Skull Valley Band of Koshoot, and White Mesa Band of the Yukon Ute. We acknowledge these lands carry the stories of these nations and their struggle for survival and identity. We recognize elders past and present as peoples who have cared for and continue to care for the land. In offering this land acknowledgement, we affirm Indigenous self-governance, history, experiences, and resiliency of the Native people who are still here today. My name is Jennifer Fenner, and I have the honor of being Chair of Creative Writing. I want to begin with gratitude and thanks, in particular to Glenn and Wild. They are the ones who have donated the money that makes this specific event possible. Glenn was a good friend of Ken Brewer, and Ken Brewer was a former Utah Poet Laureate, a former professor, and a good friend to many of us. Glenn and Ken gave this money in honor of Ken and also established a scholarship for graduate students in his name. I do know that Ann Wild passed away earlier this year, and so I just want to mark that and to send our love to them. I also want to thank the English department, and then particularly Helicon West. This is a shared event with Helicon West, and they're normally on Thursday, and they moved their event to campus and where are we in time? Monday! So I want to thank Helicon West. That is an open mic assignment sheet right by Brett. If you want to read and haven't signed up yet, please do. My guess is those spaces will go fast. We do have the opportunity tonight to meet with the jazz band. That is not something we get to have every day, so make it even riskier and ask the band to accompany. They're very good at it. I also want to thank Nima, who gave us this beautiful space to host our event tonight and made it possible with all of the chairs, and they're usually closed on Monday, so it's really special and really kind of them to open the venue for us. Also, the Utah Humanity Council and Brigham bookstore is this year to sell books. They can be purchased anytime during the event, and they have already signed some of them. So if you're worried about whether your copy will be signed, they are pre-signed. There will be a time at the end when you can go up and meet with David and sign your books personally. Okay, I think I've done all of the things on my list. I hope I didn't forget anyone. It is my honor tonight to invite Shannon Fallon up front. She will be the one that gets to introduce David Lee. Thanks goes to Michael Sauter, who first suggested that we invite Dave here as the brewer reader, in part to acknowledge the courageous journey taken by Shannon in the past 8 months. Shannon knew and studied with Ken, who's the namesake of the festival, as well as with Dave, and it makes so much sense for her to welcome Dave here tonight. We stand in awe of what Shannon has overcome since January, and we celebrate her presence here tonight. So please join me in welcoming the poet, Shannon Fallon. Brewer Festival of Writing, I'd like to open with a poem that I wrote for Ken. Wild Plum, for Ken Brewer. A friend has sent a sprig of wild plum from California, its buds sleeping small on a purple-brown stalk as it rode across miles of blank desert to arrive here in Utah to bloom tender pink near his window. Imagine traveling like that, restless, still, in a stifling box, your body wrapped in a moist towel to keep you alive while you are tossed and sorted, shipped and stored, on your way to what? Imagine your language lived only in the way your arms opened, your fists unclenched, perfume, and you had no way to know you were a tremendous gift, a small spark of life whose tiny self could light the whole room of a man who would watch you open yourself, while cancer opened more and more rooms in his body, both of you blooming your own love. Ken was born on November 28, 1941, and died on March 15, 2006, following a very public 9-month battle with pancreatic cancer. His very open struggle with cancer received extensive media coverage, including a December 18, 2005 profile on the CBS Evening News. Ken published 8 volumes of poetry, as well as more than 300 individual poems, essays, and reviews in literary journals. Ken was a beloved teacher, mentor, and friend to many people, including me. He was appointed to be the 2nd Poet Laureate of Utah, succeeding his longtime friend, David Lee. It was through Ken that I met Dave Lee. The first time I heard Dave read was in the Eccles Conference Center. He was reading with Ken and Bill Cluckhorn, who was at the time state poet of Nebraska. I was blown away. I was 19 years old. David Lee was Utah's first poet laureate. In 2001, he was a finalist for United States Poet Laureate. He is the author of 24 volumes of poetry, including The Porcine Canticles, A Legacy of Shadows, So Quiet Live the Earth, Last Crawl, and Mind Tailings. A former seminary student, semi-pro baseball player, and hog farmer, he holds a PhD with a concentration in John Milton. For over 3 decades, he taught at Southern Utah University, where he received every teaching award given by the university, including being named Professor of the Year on 3 occasions. His awards include multiple fellowships from the National Endowments for the Arts and Humanities, the Western States Book Award, the Mountain and Plains States Booksellers Award, the Critics' Choice Award, the Utah Book Award, the Elkhorn Poetry Prize, the Evolutionary Poem of the Year Award, and an honorary doctorate of humane letters. Retired, he is in intense training to achieve his goal of becoming a world-class piddler. Dave is also my friend. When I asked him to write a blurb for my latest book, he did not hesitate. When he found out I survived a massive stroke, he wrote an email to me that said, "You are young, beautiful, and healthy. That is all going for you. And along with Brock, you have a cheering and support section who are totally and lovingly behind you, and there is no hyperbole whatsoever in that remark." Because he wrote The Porcine Canticles and he was a hog farmer, he is nicknamed the Pig Poet. This is a poem I wrote for him. It features a 10-year-old boy named Stubbs. It's called The Baby Pig. The Baby Pig for Dave Lee. The baby pig floated in a jar of formaldehyde in the 5th grade science classroom. Her face was so lonely, eyes like elegant brushstrokes on china, mouth a fine gray line curved into a sorrowful smile, wrinkled snout no bigger than a dime. Her umbilical cord twisted like a honeysuckle vine, belly stippled with 2 rows of nipples, and through her nearly transparent skin, Doug saw her heart, a ripe cherry, pulse and shine. He stuffed the jar inside his coat. It stuck out like a pregnant belly. He crafted a nest of quilts and sticks, blue heating pad in the center, and hunkered over the jar as if it were an egg, folding his arms along his sides like wings, scowling into the sunset, concentrating hard to sprout feathers and a beak. He would fly them both away and they'd be free. When she was born, he would name her Beauty.
And to Brittany, who's become, I don't know what to call her, girlfriend, a sponsor. Brittany and I have developed an email relationship over the last couple of months. Wow, I'm looking person. Thank you. And I am incredibly delighted to be here. And that one is not just a throwaway line. This is very much home front for me. Ken Brewer, more than my friend, he was my brother. He was my son's godfather. There's a long-standing relationship. I'm going to start off with a poem that he started, helped me pick. It's got a root with a poet that we both dearly love and brought to this campus together. In fact, I talked to someone about it just a little while ago, but we brought William Stafford here, who at that time was considered to be poets and writers, had called him the outstanding living writer in America, and what a wonderful human being he was. And I'm going to start with a poem, and the reason I mentioned him is I used him, but without acknowledgement, in the poem. He knew that I get very, very, very nervous before reading, and sometimes can't get started. And he would sneak into a reading, me not knowing he was coming, sneak up behind me and then whisper in my ear, start off with a rip snorter, Dave. and that became sort of a calling card. Start off with a rip snorter, and I guess I'm going to. But in this poem, which is titled Globe Mallow, I have, like Rob Mahoney writing a book full of centos. I have a form of a cento. I use a line from William Stafford. It was once considered to be possibly the best-known poet of the last half of the 20th century. It's called Traveling Through the Dark. And he closes that poem by saying, I thought hard before I saw my only swerving. And I use that line in this poem and dedicate it to Bill Stafford, but I'm doing it to help me bring Ken up in my mind too, and I'll talk more about that in a moment. So, find it. Jen always tells me, try to get to the poems fast, Dave, and try not to talk so much between them because they're not dull. All right. Low Mallow Redux, House Rock Valley. I chose it because I knew Logan was going to be beautiful coming here this time of year, and it's turning, and I'm going to be back in a week, and it's going to be turning. This is a spring poem. We were moving back into this area after having been gone for a long time, and that spring it had rained, and the Globe Mallow were incredible. It was Utah at its spring finest. And so this is sort of a counterbalance season, but I want to sort of stark beauty, but rip snorting. Turn out right there, said Jan. I said, okay. Pulled off the highway, and Jan got out with her camera, started taking pictures. Clothed mallow spread thigh high across the red desert, thick as Moses' sea, tangled with Pharaoh's chariots. Then another car pulled off, and another, then one more. All of us, like children in a field of strawberries, stretching to the edge of horizon, laughing over into other worlds. And then, the '84 Ford with Louisiana license plates, doors flung open, driver bolting for a ditch and the long bleating of the lizard, passenger sauntering toward us, eyes agape, neck turning. What y'all looking for? Is there some dead bodies out here? Jan gestured toward the wildflowers, turned back to pleasure. He turned to me. What y'all taking them pictures of? I said, Globe Mallow. We've never seen such a profusion. Seen such a what? Flowers, I said. What'd you say they was? Globe Mallow. Like marshmallows? He said. And I said, exactly. And they're in bloom, like we've never seen before. Now, where marshmallows come from? I too thought hard for us all. I only swerved and said, yes. They're in full bloom, and this fall they will have fruit spread across this field like high-cap rock Texas cotton on a rainy year. Is it worth any much? He said. I said, yeah. So I've heard. A 4-ounce bag in a grocery store goes for $2. I've been told. And a tow sack full might hold what? 100 pounds at $2. Jesus Christ, he said. Can you pick it? And I said, on the outside of the fence. Inside is reservation. Only the Navajo can pick there. That's how they get all those new pickups. This side of the fence is BLM and belongs to the American public. You wouldn't be shitting me now. I said, no, sir. I am a retired professor of English. I have neither patience nor respect for hyperbolic felicity that be beneath my dignity. He said, you swear to God? And I said, yes, sir. I will swear to any God you believe in, and that is exactly what I said. Jan was staring at me with her look. I shrugged in the sunlight, hoping I was bursting into blossom. Looks like it's going to be one hell of a crop this year. But he had already turned, striding toward his car with purpose and enthusiasm. Leroy, he yelled, where are you at? Get back to the car. I got me something to tell you. Hurry up, goddammit. Well, that was a rip snorter for Bill and Dorothy. You're getting a 2-for-1 tonight. I'm going to share my reading with another poet. And I hope that will meet with your satisfaction. I'm just going to let her go. Some of you will recognize this poet fairly quickly. Give me a minute. runner beans. I do not claim to know plants, flowers, trees, or shrubs by name. Each April, I ask Bobby to name pretty little flowers along the driveway. Tulips, she says. Today, I saw a scarlet runner bean. Of course, Bobby named it for me. Its red blossoms twine a length of wrought iron fence, while zinnias could only line the sidewalk, flopped over to be stepped on like metallic orange stains traced like blood to the restaurant door. Bobby says scarlet runner beans do not really produce beans. They're merely ornamental. And I think thorns. How hard we work to produce something useful. How, like scarlet runner beans, most of them become, except a few, like evening primrose that burst from darkness, offer a name for something in the shadows of our lives. This poem I always requested every time we read it together. Well, okay, 1986. Well, seems as far back for me as you might think. Some of you weren't born, but in 1986 in Utah, we had flooding, huge flooding. We had a governor who was the emperor, not the president, governor, and he ignored needs of higher education, public education, to build a series of wonderful world-class pumps so that we could pump water in and out of the great Salt Lake. And we paid millions of dollars to put in their pumps, and they're beautiful and they're wonderful, and I know because I've seen them, and they've never been turned on to this day. But we had those pumps. Well, it flooded in low. We lived low here in the river. Our park flooded. That's why we moved up and moved into a two-story house. Slow run. Not that slow. This is one of that time. Flood. 4 a.m. The Oregon surf pounds against the Houston ducks in his basement bedroom, except he lives in Utah. Within an hour, 2 sump pumps and a water back shoot steady streams out 2 windows and a door, barely keeping even with the 5 inches of river winding between table legs, bookshelves, beds, dissertation notes. He stands ankle deep at the urinal such a long time he thinks he's pumping flood water up through the soles of his feet. He thinks, what must be done? Turn off gas. Unplug the typewriters, radio, television, lamps. Pull up the carpets. Carry out the couch. Call the insurance agent. Read the policy. Change insurance companies. A dozen neighbors stand in his bedroom, talk about what he should do next. 2 cats run upstairs, their fur bushed out, eyes wide, their bodies crouched so low they look like black logs floating up a waterfall. The table climbs, dumps on the bedroom water. 3 small tokens of fear swirling off from the sun. Outside, rain continues, dipping in the backyard like thousands trapped rising to mosquitoes. He feels trout under his feet, crawdads scuttling through the carpet. He grabs his fly rod from the storage room, casts into a ripple at the edge of his desk where an enormous German brown lies just behind the wastebasket. He hits the fly, and they battle down the hallway, crashing from wall to wall. He tries to snag the line under the bathroom door, wraps it around the toilet, but he has it by the gills and runs, shouting and splashing through the basement, holding it above his head, calling, "White! White! Look what I caught!" His wife stands at the top of the stairs, the receiver dangling from her hand like a dead river rat. It's daughter. She's getting married. Wants to have the reception here. He thinks of gondolas, of the wood yacht anchored in the living room, an ice sculpture of entwined dolphins, platters of prawns, skewers of lobster, the caterer's launch chucking off for more champagne, all the bright sailboats of his neighbors sliding around the bedroom boys loaded with gifts, flashing in the sun. Of course, he says, we'll serve them trout. We do not get along. I feel her nagging in the bones of my hands. I treat her terribly, possess, use her like a slave. I let her admire me in the bathroom mirror, then try to leave her there. But she stays with me, the way ice builds inside the windows. She tricks me into womanish gestures, capricious moves, a coquettish hand wave I despise, tears at funerals and movies, constant dieting and undieting. My eyelash and soft skin have been hers from birth. My voice troubled me until I realized I'm a man with a woman inside me. To get even, I refuse to let her do what she wants. No squash blossom jewelry, no ballet lessons, no cooking that takes over 10 minutes. I will not let her show as much affection as she would like. She cannot talk to strangers. She cannot even talk to me. So I make concessions. An occasional moment when I'm alone. And I give her my dreams. Now I'm going to read a poem I wrote for him. That was the one I always requested. This is the one he requested. Ken and Bobby had a little dog, Chihuahua, named Carlos. Some of you will remember Carlos. He was a lapper. You weren't going to sit in furniture in his house without him being there. Beautiful. So that's what I had in mind. Was Carlos after he time Ken was developing his arthritis. So, anyway, enough of that. This is from the early poems of mine. The big poems, the John Sims poems. And so the voice in this poem is not Ken. The voice is John Sims. And he was a big farmer and a partner of mine. And we're a book titled Days of Work. So we're out working together. And that's the dialogue that's going on. You come with me for a minute. Take and grab this thing right here. Now, pull them pliers on it there and hold. I'll get a clamp. But wait a minute. Just hang on. Right there. Yep. There. Okay. You can let go. It's done. I thank you. Can't get hold of nothing tight today. My arthritis is as bad. I haven't got no grip. Swallowed 4 aspirins for breakfast, but they ain't working yet. Wished I had me a copper bracelet. Just a minute. I can't read this one. I don't know what happened to me. That's ridiculous. All right, this is better. Wish I had me a copper bracelet. They say helps out when you got it on. Or one of the Mexican chinchilla dogs, you can sit with it in your lap and watch TV and keeps the arthritis away. Ruby Patrick back home had one. She's Case Stokes' daughter. Married to Jack Patrick Rancher. He hit oil everywhere. He hit a stick into the ground, just like Case Stokes done. So she's rich on both sides. But she had arthritis anyway. And her fingers and toes, I heard, went all over to them specialist doctors and spent a damn backseat full of money to find out they couldn't do nothing. And then asked old man Cummins, who could take the warts off of you, what to do, because he'd know. He says, get you one of them little Mexican dogs with out-nosed hair on it that can fit in a teacup they advertise in Grit newspaper and the funny books, and sit with it in your lap an hour a day. And it'll be a whole lot better, but it won't never go away. You might as well get you a marriage license to it. So she did. I heard she paid $100 for that dog and got papers to prove it was a real one. So when Case Stokes, her daddy, heard about it, he thrown a fit until his face swelled up like a tomato. Says, the damn good is that thing? He had half the money in the world, but $100 for a dog like that was one too many for him that day. Can it hunt? Can it swim? Can it bring back a duck or a quail? Son of a bitch can't even sit up in the front seat of a pickup and see out the window. What possesses you to pay good money for a little chip in your face? She said, you get out of here right now. It's none of your business what I do, and it is not one penny out of your pocket, so you don't have anything to say about it. Any penny spent in this town is a penny that could have been mine. But he went and left his way. He never did like that dog, but that was okay. That dog had no love for him either. She'd sit on the furniture in her living room with that thing on her leg, and if anybody come in and commenced to growl and shake all over, its lip would come out, eyes bug out like grapes on a Mustang vine. That dog, known in its heart, it could whoop anything alive that come in or around its house or the car if it was in it. You could sit there and talk to her for an hour or shell peas all morning. That dog would never take his eyes off of you or quit snarling. It didn't like nobody except her, and that included her husband. But she said it did help her arthritis, and she liked it, so there you go. Then these sorry people come to town in a whole carload. Must have been a dozen of them, it seemed. We figured they traveled from one town to another and looking for handouts after they left. Nobody got a for sure count on all them kids. It didn't seem no way he could have got the back windows in his car closed. He'd have had to cut off 7 arms, a leg, and 3 heads. They showed up at the church house Sunday morning, said they want to join up. Man says he wants to address the congregation, said, my kids ain't ate a good meal in a week. Now what y'all gonna do about it, brothers and sisters? Wasn't nothing they could do. Have a prayer. They give a collection, but they didn't give much. So somebody says, I think it's Billy Hill, we could bring back some food this evening at the prayer meeting. So they did. This is Patrick. She brought 12 quart jars of home canned peaches she was proud of. She won the blue ribbon almost every year at the fair and says, I hope you enjoy them, but could I please have the jars back when you're done? She was polite that time. He said, yeah, man, where'd I bring them? She said, dress on the jar label. They loaded it up all in his car, and he took them and drove off. Didn't even stay for prayer meeting. Next morning, here it comes. Up the street, dragging the kid's wagon. Nobody known where he got it. Probably stole it with all them jars in it, 50 not even washed. And knocks on the door. She said, did you eat all that fruit already? When she seen the wagon on the sidewalk, he says, well, good God Almighty Christ, lady, when we eat fruit, by God. Neighbor seen her said her face went so tight her jaw looked like she could have bit a hole in a crowbar. Never says nothing. Went out the door, picked up 3 jars in each hand and went in with them, and then came back for the rest. He never even offered to help her carry them. But when she come back, he says, anybody in there happen to have a cigarette? She said, nobody in that house smokes that I've ever heard of. He said, well, that's your business, I expect, not mine. She said, it certainly is. Shut the wooden door when she went in. He sat down right by the yard gate, started picking his nose, whistling like he worked there for a living at their house, waiting. He was a professional. She seen it right in through the window curtains. He's going to wait her out till she come and says, what do you want? And that's how come he had the wagon. To carry more back to where he came from. Well, he had a wrong lady. Just because she was expensive, lived in a big house, and was Case Stokes' daughter, she had a vice. And that dog had papers to prove who he was. So she let the sun shine on him all day till the afternoon. She opened the door a crack. He started to get up, probably thought she was going to offer to bring him some lemonade. Here come that dog out the door. He said, hey lady, you shitty He never got to finish. That dog was on him, went around his ankle 3 times, torn his sock right off his leg, put a swat up the back of his shirt like a lawnmower rolled on him, lit in his hair, ripped a mouthful out, and about dug a hole in the back of his head with his back feet in a second and a half. Son of a bitch, he yelled, jumped up and tried to run, but the dog got in his eyes and scratched his face, put his foot in the wagon, and it took off the other way, fell down on the fence, ripped his breeches, hollered like an elephant with its tail in a knot, got up and run down the street. That dog chased him for a block. Hit on the finger when he swatted it, had it running. Never broke a stride. He's gone. They left the wagon right there on the sidewalk where he turned it over. But he never come back for it. Nobody ever saw him again. So they give it to this school finally. She said, Carlos. See, I told you I did Kim's dog. She said, Carlos. That's what she called that dog. You come back here right now in this house. Right now. I didn't say you could go outside. That dog spun around in the street and went home like a horrible wind was after him. Went through that front door right between her legs, and she shut it. It was all over. Nobody ever heard what she said to that dog or about it. She never mentioned it again. But that dog held her arthritis down. Maybe she'd sit and pet it in her lap. And even Kay Stokes said it cut down on the doctor bills and aspirin and Bob Collier drug, but he never did say it was worth it. He wouldn't give an inch for nothing. So, I wouldn't mind having one. I go watch TV with it, let you fix this damn baler. I can't figure out why this feeder don't work, and I can't get this wing nut. Would you come help me? Don't just stand there looking. I told you, my fingers don't work today. With Kent, but also with my friend Bill Flowers. You know, they used to have a TV program called Name That Tune. They play, I can name that tune, 7 notes, and they play, you know, they would go down to who can name the tune in the fewest notes. We did that before with expressions and whatnot, 3 of us in one night. Putnam said he already had his in mind, of course, so he cheated on everything. Who can do the saddest words in the English language? Oh, so long, but I can do it. 2 words. Last call. Tonight, moon glow from within, softly, like a candled egg. And softly, stars diminish until incandescence washes the dark sky, until midnight's light slips. Its ebb, flow, liquid, tangent universe rolls softly. Midnight remonstrance. There are those. I wish honestly to only remember being gone and only memory. And there are those I wish to never remember, desiring only the presence, lasting as long as my life, until forever. As I cannot imagine living in a world containing only the memory. And you, my friend, whom the gods called into that other alone, wherever you wake, be it desert or forest, mountain or seaside, find tinder, dry moss, and kindling flint, strike a small fire, which, being eternity, will flicker forever. Sing your bright flame, fork your lightning dance. I will find you, sooner than later, wherever you wake in the darkness. We will sing together, delirious and all keen. We will tell great lies to shame the heavens. We will cook wine. I promise you.
You have made both of us very happy persons.
Thanks, David. That was amazing.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're now going to move towards the open mic portion. But before we do that, I just want to mention a few things. One exciting upcoming event tomorrow. There's a panel. So it's at 2 p.m. in the Alumni House. We've got 3 artists talking about their craft. David's going to be there, as well as Denise Gapstetter, who's right here, and Hamish Jackson. Okay, so he's a visual artist. And David, of course, will be talking about writing. Also, we have books available. Please go buy books. And we're going to start with people who want to read. We have a list of some books. What's that? Okay, we've got the first 3 readers, Jay Payne, Jacob Taylor, and Denise Gatstetter. One other thing, couple things. The band is here. If you'd like the band to be playing while you read, it's actually really cool to have the band play while you read, so you can do that. You can give them some direction, or you can, maybe they can tell you what the poem's about, or give you a little instruction, and you can kind of go from there. These guys are professionals. They know what they're doing, so let them know maybe something about the poem or the fiction, and they'll figure something out right quick. The other thing I should mention is we have a camera here. If you do not want to be filmed, you can have to give a gesture that you can use for that. You just go like this, and know and not to film you. If for some reason you don't, but of course we'd love to capture you on film as well. Okay, so Jake, you're first.
Hello everyone, I'm Jay. Also, I love a little accompaniment. I brought a poem about a rock band. I know y'all are jazzers, so thought it would be fun. Alrighty, Midnight Thunder. It's midnight, and colossal gray clouds roll into the valley like a van full of rock stars. There will be a concert tonight, but wait, I have to wake early tomorrow. Still, Midnight Thunder couldn't care less. They're here to play. Suddenly, a flash like a photographer lights up my room, someone attempting to capture the rock stars pouring onto the stage, their drummer making a beeline for the bass. Boom begins the beat of Make Me Wet. Droplets pitter-patter the snare, then wind plucks the trees like Stratocaster strings, an unforgettable solo indeed. I stand up, open the curtains, and dance to the storm. Sleep can wait. All summer, the drought and dust band kept stealing empty stage. So I stopped worrying and headbanged to the thunder and rain.
I also wrote a poem. It's titled Boy Girl. My brother called me a girl as we explored the unfamiliar corners of our mother's room, where she hid Christmas in black garbage sacks, and where cash coils of kinked cables lurked under the bed like tentacles. He meant it as an insult. I didn't take it as one. Mom walked in on us, nestled in the ropey chair passed down from Grandma, having opened her drawers full of Avon and tabletop picture frames. I'm half girl, half boy, I said, fidgeting against my brother's side. No, you're all boy, Mom said. That's how God made you. Her lips tightened like tuned violin strings. I didn't say that God made me wrong because I worried she'd snap.
One poem for you, and this is a poem reconsidering the story of the emperor from the Emperor's New Clothes. What the emperor knew. Maybe the emperor wasn't a fool. Maybe he knew that in order to live a genuine life, he had to be willing to live nearly naked, to walk with a lifted chin and a truth-infused backbone into the bustling plaza, eyes shining. Even as those around him, wrapped in their unraveling certainty, whispered and gawked, gossiped, and tittered. The emperor came only encouraged to step forward in the front of the crowd. With palms open and arms held wide, he cleared his throat and sang.
Okay, next three batters, we've got Laura McKinnon, Britt Allen, and Millie Helps.
Very long. I'm sorry about my baby, y'all. All right, I'm just ready to be a little poet himself. Okay, this poem is called What I Learned from the Mothers. You can play if that's okay. Mom always told me her life wasn't about her anymore after she had me. I patterned her words into a mosaic of grief with snores of folded sweaters she tucked in my drawer, the eggs she scrambled at 6 a.m. before the bus arrived. My husband's mother carries 6 bodies. Now she leans her weight on door frames and open drawers. I study her arm while she shows me how to sprinkle flour on the kitchen iron. She slaps dough on wood. Multiple sclerosis, she says. They gave me 5 years. She laughs like a girl dancing with her friends on prom night. That was 8 years ago, and I'm 61 young. The fridge is taped in magazine cutouts of lake houses, toothless photos of grandbabies, magnets printed in loopy words like faith. One day I'll buy a house with enough rooms for all my kids. She squeezes my hand. My grandmother was pregnant when she met my grandfather. Living in New York, she studied rhetoric, dropped out of school. 3 credits shy of her master's, she left to raise her child. It wasn't until after she died I learned my grandmother was raped. Her first child, my Aunt Galen, smelled like flea market incense, taught me to read tarot. We picked persimmons in her front yard till our hands rubbed orange. She is the color that splashed in the world when my grandmother opened the black curtains of her worst nights and held her baby, squirming and clinging like a spring of water, leaping from a cavern in the earth. The night my baby was born, the umbilical cord knotted his neck, and the metallic ping of the monitor blurred lines. I thought he will die, and I wished for his life. My body ripped, and the doctor cut. I screamed. Baby slipped into the arms of his father. His new blue lips fluttered wet for breath. His fingers opened and curled like hooks. Milky and blood-matted, the doctor patted his back. Something fluid out of his lungs. His swelling high cry punctured my own breath. Gravity tilted where the doctor lowered him on my chest. His half-moon eyes opened. He mouthed my breast. Perfect, perfect, perfect. I think mother means fearless, or maybe it is love, or maybe it is letting life slip from our hands because control is as senseless as our world becoming an axis of hummingbird heartbeats, or waking to touch the invisible rise and fall of our new baby's breath.
Ben for open micing, Jennifer for everything, and Dave Lee for all of the above. I wish you had waited to call me your girlfriend till my husband wasn't here. But also he's been hearing me talk about tonight.
I had already told him that, didn't I?
This is true. Can confirm.
Well, I'll just blush my way out of here. I am going to read my own rip snorter, yeah, technically speaking. It's called Writing at Work, and it takes place in 2020 when I did not get the pandemic that everyone else did, because as a concierge at a fancy hotel, for some reason, I was considered essential, right? So this is about needing to be essential at this fancy hotel. During the oh, sorry. Do you guys want to play something salty? Again, the title is Writing at Work. During the pandemic, guests are as entitled as at Christmas, and it's been Christmas time for months. Everyone wants a getaway without going away. Euphemistic for a bedding away from their 24/7 forever kids. Business This makes up 150% when you're the only themed hotel in town and nobody knows how else to spend their stimulus checks. My easy summer job isn't giving me much time to write between the baby-faced kids flopping like salmon into marriage beds before the world ends. The grandparents, who really shouldn't even be here, but are offended by the masks and upset about the stares. Or the blue-haired dudes with hands on their studded hips demanding to know which front desk girl is going to go out there and pave him a new parking spot while his newest girl smells our bath bombs and gas. If you don't fake smile behind the mask, the Karens can smell it. Will sidestep the plexiglass with their overgrown nail jobs and snap. How am I supposed to pick a movie if I can't see the case? 20-year-olds wasting their unemployment checks on weekly stays are my least favorite form of inspiration. No matter how creative their reasons for returning complimentary popcorn again. I can only agree, this virus is ruining everything so many times a day. I can't even read a book, might forget where I am, might tell a guest to go fuck. Celebration in, this is Brittany, how can I help you?
Okay, or maybe these just aren't jazzy enough poems. I'll work on that. All right, so this is called In the Brigham Young Historic Park. So this is in Salt Lake near Temple Square. In the Brigham Young Historic Park, a woman tills the earth forever. Her shoulders never lift nor gentle bend to soil. The boy at her feet prods irrigation water with his bronze stick. In this summer of drought, the rain has given blue undertones to the woman, the boy. Not this summer, but in time some rain touches these bronze bodies into green, green bronze and green still flecks and bent. The woman tills earth forever, and nothing ever grows. I'll read one other Utah poem. There's a new state flag. We can all vote on it. Our current state flag isn't very good, but it does have a beehive on it. So this is a poem about bees. Okay. The state of bees. Bees are our symbol. The state, the church, the dead pioneers, especially our women, or at least I thought so. The women moved constantly, children to soccer, to band, to singing, to piano, to school, to church, and gas and groceries, dinner, then cleaning, then pulling the long carrots from their gardens. The first beekeeper I met described how the bees grow to know you and stop stinging. He had a 2-gallon bucket of honey on the dining table, opaque and slow to float down a small spoon. The first time my baby sister was stung, she fell from the picnic table onto cement. I know I've been stung too, but now I can't think of anywhere or when. Bees because we are busy, bees because we are communal, bees because work is always good, because work makes us good, bees because we must be good. The only word on the flag besides Utah is industry. I work hard, not well, pacing the house when my to-do list is checked off too soon. Holding still risks stopping the good work of being good. Today I practice standing on my step for 10 seconds, doing nothing. I saw a spider web next to my bike clock, a small brown bug, dead and light, twisted in the breeze,
like a hollow Christmas ornament when someone has bumped against the tree. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jonathan Walker. Great. Come on up, Jonathan. Thank you. Other people want to sign up?
Okay, this is my first time reading poetry. It's called Glass. I was 8 when my brain betrayed me. It's a crack in the mind, an earthquake siren. You break and you shake and you choke and you fall and not even dreams can give you rest. Fracture. I was panicked when her glass shattered. My fault, even if she's a little shook up. A little further and she's broken bones. A tick on the statistic. 1, 2, don't remind me. Shiver. 8 again. The MRI monster watches my little body with its laser line eyes. Don't move. Twitching toes might break the bars. It'll leave you bloody, left for dead, and no one has irradiation eyes and brain scan heart. Splinter. Officer wants my license, and the family's here. Don't hurt me, I say to the fog lines. I didn't mean to. I latch the doors and chain my heart to the steering wheel. Smash. A seizure doesn't care when you fall. Just try and exercise me, the monster says. It cuts you on a broken mirror. Aren't you unlucky? You don't forget it. Bleed. Even when I'm safe behind garage doors, the links still rattle. Distance makes the heart pound stronger. Broken, battered, beat. The fragile piece behind my eyes, clinking on the concrete.
Our next 3 are Jacob Andresen, Maddie Ball, and Michael Stillings.
This is a little one I call Secrets. I keep to myself, but I love to socialize. I keep myself hidden, but here I am. I do what I can to share my heart, but what is a man but a miserable pile of secrets?
I've never been to a poetry reading before, but my amazing teacher introduced the great poet that wrote today. So, yeah, I'm gonna go. Alright, guys. Got it? Okay, this one's kind of deep. Boards have blocked the windows that gatekeep my soul. Tick. The tiles that brush my swinging Converse, tick, are accompanying me in a contest of stares. Tick. Old habits of pushing down feelings are about as successful as telling an erupting volcano to tick. Hold off on bursting, tick. It's not convenient, tick. It never was, tick. To tell you're older, tick. Adolescent, tick. Shadow of a sister, tick, just how she changed your life, tick. For loving a rolled up, tick. Version of George Washington, tick. And a line of instant gratification, tick. More than she loved us, tick. More than she loved me, tick.
I've actually already read at Helicon West, but it was a while ago when there weren't very many people here, and also I really want to read it with the band. This is a cosmic horror prose piece called Flesh Barrow Hatches, and I don't really know what it's supposed to be. The Flesh Barrow Hatches. High in the north, where the icy wind dusts the young, jagged mountains with crusted frost, where the days are bright and the nights are bitter, little grows among the crags. Tiny wildflowers cling to cracks in the stone during the warm months. A fleeting flash of color among the gray and white, and blue-green lichens creep along the leeward stones. But that is all. A long time ago, humans lived here, in stone huts half cut into the mountainside. The huts remain, but their occupants are gone. The winters are deeper now. But if one could brave the cold, and if they were very watchful and already knew just where to look, they might find a certain valley hidden among the mountains, an oasis in the ice. Here the jagged stones give way to dark, rich soil, flat and fertile, and the air is warm, shielded by the mountains from the bitterest of winds. Humans have long forgotten this place, as have the gods. A storm spins above the valley. The sunlight filtering sideways through the clouds makes them look almost crimson. Lightning flashes through the clouds, illuminating them from within with scarlet light, regular and constant as a heartbeat. The bottom of the clouds boil and churn, always changing, always in motion. Rain rarely falls, but when it does, it is thick and dark and heavy, and it leaves a sweet metallic taste on the air. The soil never quite dries. Its surface is perpetually damp and sticky. No plants grow in the valley, not even the mountain flowers or lichens of the shielding mountains. But something does grow here. Just below the surface, a fine capillary mesh catches the rain and soaks nutrition from the soil. The tendrils converge and join as they run towards the center of the valley, until they become massive arteries, burrowing through the ground like roots and riding gently like sleeping worms. Here, where they reach the center of the valley, just below the center of the storm, here is where the flesh marrow grows, a bulging heap of muscle and tissue, dancing to the beat of a dozen discordant hearts. Here it has grown for centuries in the watchful shade of the storm. Today, for the first time in centuries, the storm begins to break. The lightning slows and the crimson clouds dissipate. Sunlight brushes the burgundy soil. The wet surface of the flesh barrow glistens. The light penetrates into the translucent tissue and reveals, deep among the veins and vesicles, a human form, curled into a ball, head bowed and legs clasped to its chest. It is sleeping. It is waiting. Its wait is almost at an end. The flesh barrow splits. Blood and water gush from the wound and gurgle onto the dirt. The flesh barrow heaves, and the figure begins to emerge. First the head, then the shoulders, then the torso. Its long hair sticks wetly to its face and neck. With the final shudder, the flesh barrow vomits the figure out onto the mud. Then, its purpose fulfilled, it falls still. The blood rushing in its roots stagnates, and its flesh begins to cool and rot. For the first time in centuries, the valley is still. Then, with a shaky, sucking breath, the figure fills his lungs for the first time. His eyes snap open. They are pure blue, not the icy blue of ice or the gray blue of the sky, but the deep, pure blue of the finest sapphires. His face is lean and noble, framed by long locks of long curly hair that shine gold as they dry. The figure's limbs are long and slender, and his skin is smooth and white as porcelain, stretched taut across sinuous muscle. Even caked in mud and slime, he is beautiful, astonishingly beautiful, as only a statue by a sculptor with centuries of practice can be. But he is no statue. He is flesh and blood and bone. He tries to rise, but only falls clumsily back into the mud. He tries again, then again, and again, and again. Though his soul is centuries old, he has never before had to walk or stand or crawl. But he will learn. He is patient. And there is a certain elegance to his failure, for any motion by such a fair form can be nothing but graceful. This time he rises nearly to his knees before slipping and tumbling back down. He splashes into the mud on his back, chest heaving with exertion. A thin breeze sweeps the valley, bearing away the acrid stench of blood. High above, the sun shines brilliantly on a field of azure blue. The brightness hurts his eyes. A sound escapes his lips. He does not yet have words, but the sound is far older than words. It is as natural and irresistible as a cough, the sound of uncontainable delight. It is a laugh. The figure laughs. He laughs for the heat of the sun and the coolness of the air on his skin, for the oozing of the mud through his fingers and toes. He laughs for the sound of his own voice in his ears, high and clear as a church bell. He laughs as he kicks his feet and drags his arm through the mud for no purpose but the sensation of moving, of living. Soon he will learn to walk and speak, but those things can wait. He is very patient. For now it is enough to simply be.
Okay, Sarah Anderson.
This poem is called Reclining Seats. National average, I thought. 17 years old, sitting in an uncomfortable car, bathed in nervousness. Wouldn't want any less. I've been here before. It's a classic move. Empty parking lot, loud music, reclining seats, you know the story. We're not talking, barely looking at each other. Suddenly, his hand is on my leg, and we're both breathing heavy, and the windows are fogging up, and we haven't even done it yet, but oh my God, we just might do it. It's not long before he's in my seat, too. We're fighting for space and air as we tear each other's clothes off. I laugh as he pulls the lever to recline my seat. That was smooth once, but I've been here before. It's a classic move. Finally, he does something new, something that makes me gasp and arch my back, and I can't tell if it's from a pleasure or pain, but my breathing has changed, and for a sweet 7 minutes, we clumsily screwed around. Neither of us would call that night a success, but as he clambered back over to his seat to drive me home, I had a grin on my face and one thought in my mind. National average, 17. American deserts. Sunflowers turned into golden streaks as I hit 70 miles per hour on the highway. Idaho plains. I can feel it in my bones, begging to be inside me, begging to drag me home. On the side of the road, I was forced to look my shadow in the eye. I like how she looks as if she knows. One taste of who I am in solitude and I'm already in Athens. 80 miles per hour and I'm beginning to feel sick. Passing cars blur together like paint streaks on a canvas. Planes and planes and planes on all sides, that's all I can see. I'm tied to my seat in excitement. 100 miles per hour and I scream to myself. I can't remember the last time I felt this nervous. The damn steering wheel is hot and sticky and the fields are turning into rock formations that I can't decipher. I catch the faces of people I'll never see again at the rest stop. They scowl and I swear to God I can't stop smiling. 120 miles per hour and I can feel it in my hair, my skin, my hands. I am free. I am free at last. Thank you.
Okay, great. Well, we're just about done. Thank you guys for coming. I'm going to read a poem. Some of you may know that our beloved professor, Michael Stouter, is retiring after this year. So some of you know that, some of you may not. Michael's been a great mentor to me, and so I wrote this poem for him. You might know too that Michael's quite a rock climber. He's sort of taken me up the canyon a few times. And so this poem is inspired by one of those adventures. I'm not sure if this is maybe something really high. Okay. So this poem's called On Belay. He's losing strength while trapped, cliff-hung, baffled by dimpled rock. So locks his gaze on white, limestone, orange lichen, not root-tangled ground. Still he imagines up, where light unmasks its peak and windswept clouds retract. O grasslessness, forget your heavy dream of chalk. Me stuck, he thinks, without a crack to grip. More slack and sag rope slips between his past and present's midlife stall. He toe tests ledge, then crimps the nib, ignores dread threat of gravity's down, stitched through every taut tendon, through every skin raw jam. The crest, though sheer, remains in reach, and when he falls, who's there to catch and enjoy again the wall? Thank you. And now Michael's going to read that.
Thank y'all. I said I'd read a poem if Ben read one. So I wrote this poem, dedicated this poem to Ben. So anyway, this is kind of a poem about nothing, and doesn't have any images in it either. So, I'm finishing a manuscript of poems, and each poem is based on a letter of the Sanskrit alphabet. And this one is based on the letter N. And kind of like in English, because Sanskrit is related to English, N begins a lot of words that like deal with no, negation, not, kneel, never, kind of like in English as well. So anyway, it turns out, I'm a long-time yogi, and it turns out that both in traditions of Christian mysticism and also yoga and Hinduism, there is this practice of seeking the presence of God by negating any thought that comes into your head. So like, for example, the idea is that any like image or conception you have about God is just something in your head. It's not actually God, right? It's just an idea or a picture in your head. So the practice is anything that comes into your head, you negate it. You negate everything, right? And then you're seeking this kind of presence. So, for example, like the 14th century German Christian mystic Meister Eckhart, he said, you must go beyond God to find God. Because we have this conception about God. But it's not God, right? So anyway, this is N. So, anyway, anyway, this is N. 35th letter of the Sanskrit alphabet, pronounced like the English N, for Ben Gunsberg. I forgot, sorry. That this practice in Sanskrit, you say neti, 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 which means not that, not that, not that, not that. So the poem kind of plays with that. Okay, so neti, 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 not that, 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 not that. No, 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 no. Not, not what you think. It's not what you think. Don't think, don't think, don't think, don't think. It's not what you think. don't think, don't think. Not that, not that, not that, not that. Not that, not that, not that, not that. Oh, Jesus Christ. Not that, not Christ. Not Yahweh, Buddha, Krishna, Allah, Mary, Kali. Not Avalokiteshvara. Not God, 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 not God. Not dog, not dog, not dog, not dog. Not that, not that, not that, not that. Not cat, not cat, not cat, not cat. Not that, not that, not that, not that. Thus, not no, not no. No not, no not. Not that. No this, no that. No no, no no. No no, no. This. Just this, just this, just this, just this. This whisper, whisper, lisp. Just this, just this, just this, just this. Yes, this, yes, this, yes, this, yes, this. This, yes, this, yes, 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 yes. Yes, this. This. The brink, a brink, a brink, a brink. This lip, this cliff, this crisscross, sing. Just this, just this, just this, just this. This yes, this yes, this yes, this yes. Then light, then light, then light that breaks. Yes, this, yes, this, yes, this, yes, this. This light, oh light, oh light, oh light. No thing, no thing, no thing, no thing. This fire, this fire, this fire, this fire. What's fire? What's fire? What's fire? What's fire? No thing, no thing, no thing, no thing. It is not that. It is. It is not that it is. This is, this is, this is, this is. Is what? What is? Is that? That is. It is, it is, it is, it is. It's it, it's it, it's it, it's it. It's is, it's is, it's is, it's is. It is not that, it is. It is not that, it is. No thing, no thing, no thing, no thing. It is. It is is. It is. No thing, no thing, no thing, no thing. This whisper, this I am, this I am, that I am, that I am, that I am. Tatwam asi, you are, you are, you are, you are, you are, that you are, that you are, that you are. This beat, this beat, this beat, this beat, this heart, this is, just this, just this, just this, just this. No thing, no thing, no thing, but no thing. I am, you are, we are, it is. No thing, no thing, no thing, no thing. Just this, just this, just this, just this. Just this, just this, just this, just this. Thank you.
Let's hear for the band. Let's hear for Jennifer Steiner, who got all this going. And David Lee. Okay. The books are here. The workshop's tomorrow. I hope to see you there. Thanks for coming.